Help me hit 7,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. People think betrayal arrives loud. It doesn't. It usually walks in quietly, sits across from you, and tells you the truth you were avoiding. My name is Caleb. I'm 38, work logistics, live outside Leeds, and until last winter I believed my marriage was ordinary in the safest way. Not perfect, not exciting, but steady. I thought steady meant secure. I met my wife, Hannah, in our 20s. She had this soft confidence, the kind that didn't demand attention but somehow held it. We built a life the slow way. Shared routines, shared bills, Sunday groceries, Netflix arguments. Nothing dramatic. And maybe that's why I missed the signs. Or maybe I saw them and chose comfort over clarity. The first crack wasn't an affair rumor. It was distance. Conversations turning functional. Touch becoming accidental. She laughed less with me and more at her phone. When I asked how her day was, I got summaries, not stories. I told myself this was marriage maturing. Everyone says passion fades. You adjust. You endure. You don't ask uncomfortable questions. Then one Tuesday evening, a woman named Lila knocked on my door. She introduced herself slowly, like she was bracing for impact. She said she was married to a man named Mark. She said Mark and Hannah worked together. She said she wouldn't be here if she wasn't certain. Her hands were shaking, but her voice was steady. That scared me more than shouting would have. She told me my wife was cheating with her husband. I remember nodding, like she just told me the weather. My body went numb before my mind caught up. She showed me messages, hotel receipts, photos taken from a distance that felt cruel and merciful at the same time. There was no room left for denial. The truth didn't argue. It simply existed. If the story already feels heavy, please tap the like button so it reaches people who might need to hear it, because silence is how these things survive. Lila didn't cry. She looked exhausted, like someone who had already done her grieving. She said she wasn't there to compare pain or demand anything. She just believed I deserved to know. Then she surprised me by apologizing, as if honesty itself needed forgiveness. After she left, I sat alone for hours. I didn't confront Hannah. I didn't call anyone. I just replayed ordinary memories and watched them rot. Every late meeting, every canceled plan, every moment I'd swallowed doubt to keep peace. The next day, Hannah kissed my cheek and asked what I wanted for dinner. That was the moment something inside me hardened. Not anger, awareness. If you were in my place, would you confront immediately or wait for certainty? Tell me in the comments. I waited. A week later, Lila texted me. One line. I'm filing for divorce. I didn't know why she told me, but I felt relieved she did. We met for coffee not as conspirators but as casualties. We compared timelines without drama. The overlaps were surgical, clean, intentional. She asked how I was holding up. I told her the truth. I felt embarrassed more than hurt, like I'd failed a test everyone else saw coming. She nodded and said something that stayed with me. Being loyal doesn't make you foolish. Trusting the wrong person does. If that line resonates, comment the word clarity below. Not for me, for yourself. What I didn't expect was the quiet comfort of being understood without explanation. With Hannah, I had to justify feelings. With Lila, I didn't have to translate them. We weren't flirting. We were decompressing. Two people finally allowed to speak plainly. I confronted Hannah that weekend. No theatrics. I laid out what I knew. She didn't deny it. She blamed loneliness, routine, my emotional absence. I listened, because listening was something I'd always done well. When she finished, I told her I was done. The sentence felt lighter than expected. Divorce is paperwork mixed with grief. Some days I felt free. Some days I felt hollow. Lila and I checked in occasionally. Short messages. No promises. No expectations. And somehow, that restraint built trust faster than passion ever did. Later, months passed. The divorce finalized quietly, like an exhausted argument finally giving up. Hannah moved on quickly. I didn't ask how. I stopped needing answers once I accepted that truth doesn't always bring closure, just direction. My days became simpler. Gym in the mornings, work, evenings that felt empty but honest. Loneliness is easier to carry when it isn't mixed with betrayal. Lila and I stayed in touch carefully. We never crossed lines while our marriages were still legally breathing. There was an unspoken respect between us, built on the damage we'd both survived. We met occasionally for walks, sometimes dinner. Always neutral places. Always conversations that went deeper than weather but stopped short of hope. One night, after a long silence, she told me something I hadn't realized I needed to hear. She said, "You didn't miss the signs because you were weak. You missed them because you were committed." No one had framed it that way before. It reframed years of self-doubt into something sturdier. Loyalty, even misplaced, is still a strength. That was the night she asked me out. Not casually, not impulsively. She asked with hesitation, like someone aware of the weight of timing. She said she didn't want to replace pain with distraction. She wanted to build something intentionally or not at all. I didn't answer right away, not because I didn't want to, but because I respected what we'd both been through. At this point in the story, if you think healing relationships deserve to be talked about openly, please share this video with someone who believes trust can't be rebuilt. Sometimes the right story reaches the right person at the right time. I said yes a week later. Slowly, deliberately. Our first date wasn't cinematic. No sparks flying, no dramatic confessions. Just two people laughing carefully, like laughter itself needed permission. What surprised me wasn't attraction. It was safety, the absence of guessing. When she spoke, she meant it. When I asked, she answered. Being with Lila didn't erase what Hannah did. Contextualized it. I stopped seeing my past as wasted time and started seeing it as training. I knew how to listen. I knew how to show up. I knew what neglect felt like, and I refused to recreate it. There were moments of fear, triggers, text delays that made my chest tighten. She had them too. The difference was we named them instead of weaponizing them. When something felt off, we said it out loud. No games. No punishment silence. That alone felt revolutionary. Do you believe trust should be earned slowly, even after pain like this? Or do you think starting fresh means starting fast? Share your perspective in the comments. Different experiences matter here. What changed my life wasn't just falling for someone new. It was understanding myself differently. I realized I'd spent years proving my worth through endurance, through patience, through staying. Walking away taught me that self-respect isn't loud. It's decisive. Lila once told me she admired that I didn't seek revenge, that I didn't expose Hannah publicly or spiral. I told her it wasn't strength. It was exhaustion. When you're tired enough, you stop trying to win and start trying to heal. That's when clarity shows up. A year later, Lila and I moved in together. No grand announcement. No performative happiness. Just shared space that felt earned. Some nights we talk about the past. Most nights we talk about nothing important at all. And that's how I know it's real. If you've ever rebuilt your life after betrayal, type the word rebuild in the comments. Not as a badge of honor, but as a reminder that starting over doesn't mean starting from zero. Looking back, I don't thank Hannah for cheating. Pain doesn't need gratitude. But I do acknowledge that the truth she forced into my life saved me from decades of quiet resentment. And I acknowledge Lila, not as a savior, but as proof that connection after loss is possible when two people refuse to repeat old patterns. Before you go, like this video if it resonated, comment with one lesson this story brought up for you, and subscribe if you want more real stories about trust, loss, and rebuilding, because these conversations matter and you're not alone in them. Sometimes the person who delivers the worst news becomes the reason your life finally changes for the better.